Laurie Nowell, editor, Refugee Stories in their own words. This book tells a lot about people, and do you think it's the sort of book that in the current debate in Australia that people should read? Put aside their conflicting views and have a read about the people at the centre of this whole issue.
Yes, I would hope that everyone would maybe consider reading this book, because what it does is it humanises the debate. This debate about refugees or migration or whatever you want to call it ultimately boils down to people's lives. So this book tells the story of some of those lives, and I think, or I hope, what comes through is that these are ordinary people with ordinary aspirations, dreams, the same hopes and fears that we all have. They all want the best for their children. So I would hope that this book helps to make people understand that these debates can get wrapped up in political jargon, but really they have an incremental effect on people's lives that over time can become quite significant.
Laurie, in reading the book, it's quite clear to me that what you've done is place the reader in the situation of the people who are facing tremendous challenges. And it probably is a book of self-questioning for the reader.
Yeah, well, I hope that it gives people food for thought. What we tried to do was, as much as possible, convey the authentic voice of the person who was sharing their story. So it's very much told through the prism of the person's own experience. We haven't tried to overlay any kind of cultural or political agenda across it. We've tried very much to stay faithful to the words and the descriptions that we were given by the people who were generous enough and courageous enough to share their stories with us.
Laurie, do you think it's the sort of book, when time goes by, that will end up in the hands of many young Australians?
I would hope so, and I think that it would appeal to many young Australians, because I think that young Australians are much more tolerant, much more accepting of diversity than perhaps older people, and I also think that they understand the benefits of cultural diversity, the richness that people from other countries bring with them, the food, the music, the culture that comes with people who arrive from other parts of the world.
And when you talk about the food and the culture, etc., when the migrants and the refugees arrive here in Australia, we are fortunate, aren't we, that they do bring that richness with them? Very
much so, and I think it's always been like that in this country, going back to the Greeks and the Italians, the Vietnamese. I mean, you couldn't imagine Australian culture without Italian food, Vietnamese soup, Greek coffee. I mean, it's part of what we are now. The horse has bolted, really. It's too late to shut the gate. We are quite simply a multicultural community.
Laurie Knowles, thank you once again.
My pleasure.